Sometimes reality behaves in very strange ways. Sometimes events unfold as if someone had already written the script in advance. A free parking space appears at the exact moment you arrive. Or suddenly, completely unexpectedly, new opportunities appear. And one unexpected encounter can change a situation that had seemed unsolvable for a long time. When all of this started happening in my life, at first I thought they were just coincidences. But then those coincidences started happening too often. And that was the moment when I asked myself a question for the first time. What if reality is not arranged the way we have always believed, and it all started with a single book? A little more than a year ago, I first heard about a book by Vadim, Zeland, Reality Transurfing. At that moment, it sounded rather strange. Controlling reality. The space of variations. Lifelines. Honestly, at first I was quite skeptical about it. I read a few chapters. Some things seemed interesting, but a lot of it was difficult to understand. And quite soon I put the book aside. Life went on as usual. Work, daily routines, plans for the future. But a few months later, a period began in my life when things started unfolding in a rather strange way. Tension appeared at work. Some plans began to fall apart. Sometimes it felt as if circumstances were forming against me. You know that feeling when it seems like reality itself starts going slightly against you. And it was exactly then that I remembered Zeland's books again. I opened one of them once more, but this time I started reading much more carefully. And gradually I began to notice one very interesting idea. Transurfing says that reality is not just a collection of random events. It is a space of variations. Imagine a vast library where thousands of different scenarios of your life already exist. One scenario where everything stays exactly the same. Another where new opportunities appear. A third where events unfold more successfully. And every day, consciously or not, a person chooses which lifeline to move to. When I first read this, it seemed to me like an interesting philosophy. But then I came across another book. It is called Tufti the Priestess. And it was in that book that I first read about a very unusual idea. Most people live as if they are asleep. They constantly react to events, but they almost never control them. And when I read that idea, I became genuinely curious. If this is really true, if reality truly consists of many possible scenarios, then theoretically it should be possible to choose a different one. At first, I decided to run a small experiment. Nothing serious. Just to see whether it works, at least in small things. So I started with the simplest situation. A small problem that happened almost every day. When I arrived at work, there was almost never a free parking space near the office. Every morning I had to circle around the building. Sometimes for 5 minutes, sometimes for 10, and sometimes even longer. And one morning I decided to try a small practice I had read about in the book. Before approaching the office, I stopped my inner dialogue for a few seconds and simply imagined one very simple scenario. I drive up to the office, and right in front of the entrance, a parking space becomes free. No effort, no tension. Just a frame of reality that I choose. Honestly, at that moment it felt a little naive. But I decided to complete the experiment anyway. A few minutes later, I arrived at the office. And do you know what happened? As I was driving toward the entrance, the car that was parked right next to the building, at that exact moment, started pulling out, and the space became free. I calmly parked the car. Sitting there for a moment, I paused and thought. Of course, it could have been a simple coincidence, but inside, a very strange feeling appeared. As if I had just seen a small crack in the familiar picture of reality. A few days later, I decided to try again. And the same thing happened. And it happened again. But they almost never control them. After those experiments, I started observing what was happening much more carefully. Sometimes it even felt as if certain events were unfolding a little more favorably than before. But one situation made me stop and think seriously. During that period, I often reflected on my work. For a long time, my income had stayed roughly the same. I worked, completed my tasks, everything went on as usual. But no real changes were happening. And one day I decided to apply the same principle. I didn't wish for a specific amount of money. I didn't try to force reality to give me something. I simply formed a very simple frame. A frame in which a new opportunity appears. An opportunity that helps increase my financial income. After that, I let the thought go and simply continued with my usual activities. About 2 weeks passed. And one day I was invited to a conversation. It was just a regular work meeting. But during the discussion, the topic of a new project suddenly came up. And at one point, a suggestion was made that I take responsibility for part of that project. And along with that, they proposed revising the payment terms. At that moment, I began to think about it seriously. It felt a little too similar to the scenario I had once imagined. But the real turning point happened a little later. And that's when I could no longer explain everything as a simple coincidence. One evening, I walked into a small cafe. It was a completely spontaneous decision. I was just passing by and decided to stop in for a coffee. And there I met someone I hadn't seen in several years. We started talking. And it turned out that he was currently working on a project directly related to my field. And he happened to be looking for someone with experience similar to mine. Sitting there at the cafe table, I suddenly remembered one idea from Transurfing. When a person changes their inner state and consciously chooses the next frame, reality begins to gradually rearrange itself. Events begin to form a chain, as if one frame starts attracting the next. And that was the moment when I decided to explore this more deeply. I opened the book Tufty the Priestess again. And in one of the chapters I found a description of a very simple yet powerful practice. A practice that literally helps you form the next frame of your reality. And you know, at some point I realized one simple thing. This knowledge is truly worth sharing. Friends, I want to share my experience with you. What I have understood and started applying in practice. The simple techniques described in the books about transurfing. And I discovered one amazing thing. Reality really can be changed. You can gradually guide events in the direction you want. You can create the life you dream about. And the most surprising part, It is much simpler than it seems. If you don't have time to read the books by Vadim Zeland, I will try to explain the essence briefly and clearly. I will explain how this practice works. And I will share the words of Tufti herself about how this technique should be used. And here is how Tufti herself explains it. And here Tufti speaks about something very unusual. A person has two centers of intention. The first center is internal. It is located in the area of the forehead and is responsible for ordinary actions. When you think, plan, or try to achieve a result through effort, it is the internal center of intention that is working. But there is also a second center. Tufti calls it the external center of intention. And it is this center that is capable of influencing the movement of future events. This center is connected with what Tufti calls the intention braid. The braid is an energetic strand located behind the back, roughly at the level of the shoulder blades. Not directly along the spine, but slightly away from the body. It cannot be seen with the eyes, but it can be felt. As soon as you bring your attention there, it may feel as if there is a small point behind your back, a subtle energetic extension of the body. Tufti says that the external center of intention is located precisely at the tip of this braid. And it is through this point that you can set the next frame of your reality. So how is this done? First, you need to wake up for a moment. Become aware of yourself and of what is happening around you. Then shift your attention to the braid. Simply feel it behind your back. As soon as your attention touches the braid, it is as if it becomes activated. Now, while keeping your attention on the braid, imagine the desired event. A picture of the situation unfold in exactly the way you want it to. It could be a successful meeting, good news, an unexpected opportunity, a favorable solution to a financial situation, or the fulfillment of a wish you have been thinking about for a long time. At that moment, it is as if you illuminate the next frame of your reality. After that, release the sensation of the braid and simply continue with your usual activities. According to Tufti, this is how a person gradually begins to change the course of events, not by fighting the current reality, but by choosing the next version of the future, the version where events unfold more favorably, where opportunities appear, where desires gradually begin to manifest in real life. If you have listened to this video until the end, thank you. It means you are truly searching for answers, and perhaps you are already beginning to see your reality in a different way. Try applying this practice in your own life. Start with simple things, with small events, and gradually you may begin to notice surprising changes. Situations will start unfolding in the way that works best for you. New opportunities will appear, and more often you will notice that your intentions begin to manifest in reality. At some point you will understand one very simple thing. Dreams really can become reality. If you know how to interact with the world in the right way, and if you learn to choose the next frame of your life. If this video is helpful for you, support the channel, subscribe and stay with us. There is much more interesting knowledge and practice ahead. We will talk about things that once seemed like mysteries, about how reality truly works, and how to learn to guide your own life. Thank you for being here. And remember, reality begins to change the moment you decide to change it.